All right, man. After watching a couple of documentaries on Netflix, I can say one thing that the system is messed up. I'm not gonna make it seem like it's just set up to make just minorities fail. It's set up to make a lot of people fail, and a lot of times these people get things wrong that people get stuck in prison for years of their life that they can't get back, and they were innocent. At the end of the day, you have to be proven innocent. I think a lot of these cases, they just see a target and they go with it. They don't look into the evidence or anything like that. Really, they just say, "Hey, this the person." They ain't got no lawyer. They can't afford no big lawyer, so they end up having to spend a lot of time of their days in prison. So that brings me to the documentary that I've been watching recently. Is a three-part series, three different cases, pretty much. The first one is called the documentary is called The Innocent Files, and this came out a couple years ago on Netflix. My fiance was the one that told me about it, so I just now looked into it, and we've been watching a couple episodes. And I wanted to speak on the first case because it's three different cases. I'm beginning here and tell you about the first one, and eventually I get to the second and third somewhere down the line, maybe next week or so. But this one was about two gentlemen that went to prison that were accused of a murder back in 1990, and they were proved innocent about 16 years later. So I want to discuss that. Um, the first thing, this took place in what is it, Knoxville County, Mississippi, in 1990. This is kind of disturbing because it has to do with younger kids, and just to see them murder, not being able to live their life to the fullest it's messed up. But I just want to talk about it and just bring awareness, and hopefully everybody start watching after their kids and stuff like that at all times, because you don't know what type of crazy people out here. You gotta protect our kids, man. They the next generation. But this 3 year old name was Courtney Smith. She was found in a pond with bite marks on her. So the doctor at the time, Michael West, was doing. He did about 12 dental impressions, and one of them that popped up, what he based it off of was the bite marks on the little girls. I want to say on their foot, which is crazy. It was just crazy seeing a bite mark on their foot. Who bites a kid on their foot and throw them in a pond? Um, this Dr. Michael West worked on a case back in the days that helped bring down what is his name, Ted Bundy. He was a part of the Ted Bundy case, and I think that with him being a part of Ted Bundy case, being able to crack the code on him, he felt like he was always right, like he could do no wrong. So what happened was he ended up doing these bite marks, and it ended up putting a man in jail that goes by the name Levon Brooks. Levon Brooks was a older guy. He was dating, I want to say, the mom, or coming around the house a lot at this little young lady's Miss Smith family. I can't remember what the mother name was, but he how it went was that night somebody reached inside the window, grabbed her, took her to the woods, and some things happened. He threw her into the water, into a pond, and they found her a couple of days, maybe a day or two later, floating in the pond, and she was pronounced dead. With these bite impressions that I want to get back to with the Dr. West was, he said that the Mr. Brooks teeth match the impressions or with the bite marks. So I think it was like a couple months or so. Um, he ends up getting put in jail. A little bit later, 2 years later, Christina Jackson, also a 3 year old, has the same issue with her. She was pulled out her home, similar bite marks, and I want to say she was threw in a pond as well. Um, Dr. Richard Servan, I want to say his name. He wasn't too much believing that Dr. West was correct. He understood that, like, oh, everybody's glorifying this dude because he's been working on Ted Bundy case. He's a big serial killer. He must be right, and that wasn't the case at all. He was out to prove that no. I think that these don't look like bite marks, so it has to be a way to prove it. Now that's when the Innocent Files come in. because they have a group put together where they can try to defend these guys. So um, when the Brooks guy was in prison, they came back at some point and said that it wasn't the Mr. Brooks guy. It was the the mother's boyfriend, which was I can't. His last name is Brewer, Kennedy Brewer. They sentenced him to death, and that was for the 3 year old, the other 3 year old, the Christian Jackson. They sentenced him and said that with him being the boyfriend to the mother, they felt like that he was the one behind it because his teeth marks matched it. Now they had both of the gentlemen on there telling their story like, "Look, man, I didn't have nothing to do with it. I don't even bite people. I've never been in trouble. I've never been behind bars or anything like that." So you got two guys in prison. Mr. Mr. Brooks was facing, I want to say, like 25 years, and Kennedy Brewer was sentenced. No, Levon Brooks was sentenced to life in prison, and Kennedy Brewer was sentenced to death in prison. So both of these guys have been saying like I'm innocent, man. They said both of them they felt the way because as the years go on, he's like, man, I know I didn't do this crime, but ain't nobody coming to save me. So maybe I just gotta rot up here in prison stuff. Out of nowhere, this group is formed, and they start looking into the case, and they start like seeing different things that don't match up. And like I said, it goes back to the bite marks. With these bite marks, what happened was that they weren't bite marks. It wasn't bite marks from a human. I'm not saying it was a fish or something, but it was something in the water that was biting at their feet because they were dead in the water. They were biting at their feet, and it was completely not them. So the Doctor West dude is pretty much saying, look, y'all, if y'all let these two dudes out, y'all letting criminals back out on the streets. And the other doctor is saying no. This shows that these are not teeth marks. You got like the top, you got how do you have the top teeth, but at the bottom is no bite mark? Like how do you bite somebody with just your top teeth or something like that? It was a crazy way they explained it. But as the story goes on, I'm pretty much giving you the whole summary of it. As the story goes on, they the team finds out. Look, these two were not. They were not guilty. Um, at the time, if I could rewind a little bit from the first case, the Courtney Smith, her 5 year old sister talked to the investigators, and they were saying that yeah, somebody came to the window and snatched my sister out and stuff, and they put up a lineup, and the 5 year old was going through the lineup, and she pretty much picked the guy that she's seen at the house before, so she's thinking that she's doing justice, but it's like no, you don't. You're 5 years old. This is just somebody that you've seen at the house before. So of course you're gonna go with the familiar face. You're not gonna say, "Oh, it was this type of person," because her imagination was so crazy. She's talking about, "Oh, this guy had quarters in his ear. He had some scary eyes, and he snatched her out and put the quarters in his sister's ear." It's very disturbing, man. Just in seeing how the system can get over on a child as well, trying to get them to place blame on somebody that was innocent. Fast forward, both of these gentlemen are released from prison because the evidence showed that it was not their bite marks. So now the Dr. West dude is going crazy because both of these guys got out. Um, it's just crazy to me how bad the system is. For I understand back in the 90s they didn't have cameras and all the forensic that they have now, which is it's a great thing that they have the forensic now. But just back then, not them having that and knowing there are millions of people sitting in prison right now that are innocent, and they might not never get their day in court, and a lot of them like they end up getting killed in prison or doing harm to themselves. But anyways, as the story ends for this case, both of these gentlemen end up doing about 15 to 16 years in prison. They're finally released after serving, well, being sentenced to life and one being sentenced to death. What blew me about this case was that they were given a lump sum of 50K a year for only 10 years. So they served 16 years in prison and they only got paid 50K for 10 years. So you mean to tell me that I just did 16 years in prison for not being at the crime scene, not being a part of this, not just being innocent. And the best y'all can do for me is give me 50K for 10 years. Now, I know some people, like, if you ain't had no money before, 50K is not a lot, especially if you got bills and car notes and all that type of stuff. 50K is, you're going to run through that. But for them not to be able to enjoy their life, missing out on 15 years of their life because they were sitting behind jail because some dumbass doctor ego was so big that he couldn't just say, no, these don't look like teeth mark. He was just dumb in the head to do this. So in the comments, I just want to ask y'all if you've seen this TV series before, The Innocent Files. If you have, give me your opinion on was justice served. I'm in the boat of saying that they should have got paid more. And on top of that, rest in peace to Levon Brooks because he ended up passing away of colon cancer. So even those 10 years ran out, and after that, there was 10 years, he ended up passing away from colon cancer. So it's kind of messed up that your life went from living life, having a good life, or I'm not saying he's having a great life, but he was living his life to the fullest, getting accused of murder, going to prison for 16 years, and then getting out for about 10 years to have 50K for 10 years, and then for you to pass 2 years later. It's very disturbing. The Kennedy Brewer guy is living his life, but still, it's like it's hard to adapt back to being normal again when somebody accuses you of murder, because you might have people in your city that still look at you with the side eye like, I really don't trust this dude. And it's probably hard for you to get a job, man. So, and like I said in the comments, man, if you got any documentaries y'all looking at, if you could suggest me some new ones. I'll look into them, and I like just doing reviews on the documentaries because I'm a big documentary watcher. So that's all I got for y'all for this week, man. Again, this documentary is called The Innocent Files on Netflix. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the Mechee from the Midwest podcast for your latest on documentaries, updates, and TV shows.